our region's business, improving our economy, creating jobs, and strengthening communities. Innovation, collaboration, transformation, and the people making it happen. Join us as we take a closer look at our region's business. Now, here's your host, Bill Flanagan.
Today on Our Region's Business, we're talking tech with a few stories that just may amaze you. We'll find out about one local startup that's revolutionizing the world of adhesives with innovation borrowed from the sticky feet of geckos. Plus a new web-based solution that's making it easier for landlords and renters to manage their relationships. But first, Microsoft's big plans for our region. About a year ago, the company acquired Avere Systems, a Pittsburgh-based company that makes storage hardware and software that helps companies use Microsoft's Azure cloud services. Ron Bianchini's back with us. He's site leader of the Pittsburgh Development Office of Microsoft. Rebecca Thompson is a product director for Avere Azure. Welcome. Good to have you both here.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
I'm trying to keep this straight. Avere Azure, Microsoft, how all this works. You're still sinking in with all of you?
Couple too many A's.
A little bit of a tongue twister, right?
It's been about a year, right? The deal was announced about a year ago. And I guess we probably should explain a little more about what it is you all do and how it makes sense for Azure now to have acquired
Great.
this business.
So at Avere, we make a high-performance storage solution. And we started 10 years ago. So this goes back to 2008. And it was all about how you can make a storage solution both high-performant and big, which very much targets enterprise. And that was hard to do. There were technologies to make it performant, and there were technologies to make it scalable, but we found a way to do both. And we're very, very efficient at keeping the performance part onto the high-speed storage and the capacity part on the low speed. But really how that aligns with Microsoft is we very much targeted enterprise, solving big data solutions with lots of performance. That's really how the enterprise makes their decisions these days, by using data. And Microsoft shared that vision that this is what's important to the enterprise.
Well, and I'm trying to think, 10 years ago, was anybody even talking about the cloud back then? I don't think that was a thing.
No, there was no thing, yeah. So, I mean, Avere, we started as a pre-cloud company, and it was probably about 5 years into our journey as a company that the cloud started to take off, and that's when we started to transform our own product to say, hey, we have this notion of, bringing high-performance storage to all these companies, but now they want to take those data workloads and move them to the cloud, and we think we can help them do that. And that's really what, in the end, ended up becoming the product that Microsoft was so interested in.
People talk about startups making a pivot, and that really was our pivot. We started out as a data center play, thinking that all these enterprises were going to try to build these solutions on their own. But as the cloud, which came after us, started taking off, we found a way to adapt our product into the cloud.
Okay, and obviously it eventually caught Microsoft's attention.
Well, and it helped too that we had some pretty snazzy customers.
Yes.
So some of the things we were known for was like our work in the in Hollywood in the special effects business. So companies like Sony ImageWorks and doing their animation, companies like Illumination MacGuff, which is a French-based company that does the Minions. So all of the special effects, all
this business of computer graphics and all this stuff, Pixar and everybody else was doing more and more demand for more and more data, and how do you manage it, how do you process
big data sets and getting high performance into those data sets. That's exactly right.
Got fast rendering and all the things that go into that.
That's exactly right.
It could become critically important. So yeah, it makes a lot of sense. So the company grew. So but prior to this this acquisition, you have had how many people at Avere?
We were about 100 people.
Okay.
Maybe 75 in Pittsburgh and 25 around as in the sales offices. And we have been growing ever since the acquisition. So we're close to 100 back just in Pittsburgh. We'll be doubling again. We have open recs. We're recruiting constantly, and it's all about. I really have to go back to the shared vision of how enterprises need to adopt the cloud and this big data, big compute, and so they're staffing up our organization to continue to do that.
So this cloud thing is far from done then, right? I mean,
we're in the very early stages of cloud, and especially for these very high performance workloads. So it's easy for people to take applications that people weren't using much and move those to the cloud, or things that are born in the cloud native applications. But all of these like very high performance complex applications that require a lot of processing, most of those still are in companies' data centers because they're very challenging to move. And this is where I think Avere comes in and helping Azure take that that enterprise business that they've been so good at over the last few decades and take those last few workloads and get those into the cloud.
Think about our history. We started out in the data center and we pivoted to the cloud. And if you think about what the typical enterprise is trying to do, they started out in their own data center and they're trying to move into the cloud. So we actually developed our product to work hybrid. So you could have a piece of it on-prem and a piece in the cloud, and it actually helps smooth the transition. I think our biggest growth in those early days were the customers that wanted to migrate and wanted to leverage hybrid. And that was another big part of the strategy to get enterprise into the cloud. You needed to have a very clean path in, this hybrid approach.
Yeah, a little bit of time left, but I do have to ask you anything about Microsoft. They're in Seattle, all that incredible tech talent, all that incredible growth, yet they're keeping you here, and you're growing here. So there must be a good reason why Microsoft would want to have a presence in Pittsburgh.
Absolutely. It's our tech talent. Think about the universities. Think about Carnegie Mellon, University of Pittsburgh. These kids are coming out, and the big research topics now are artificial intelligence, machine learning. The kids are coming out with the exact right background for how to go build a cloud. And it's that. It's cost of living. It's the students coming out of the universities. It's a really good confluence of attributes for the region that they're interested in.
It's interesting. I was talking to somebody the other day who said, AI, machine learning, all that. We've been doing this stuff in Pittsburgh for 40 years, but nobody cared until about 7 or 8 years
That's right. That's exactly right. And it's the scale. It really is. It was easy for anyone to do it at small scale, to write little applications to do it, but the scale that some of these companies are growing to, and then if you're the cloud provider providing that, the scale is just incredible.
Well, exciting stuff. You'll have to bring the Microsoft folks by from the home office sometime. We'd
Absolutely.
Love to have them on the
We'd
show.
love to
really
do it.
Appreciate it. Ron Bianchini and Rebecca Thompson from, Avere, Azure, and the Pittsburgh Development Office of Microsoft. I have to look to keep it straight. Congratulations and continued success. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Bill.
Get a grip. If it's a gecko grip, you may never let go. It's a sticky idea that's led a homegrown company to bring a new kind of adhesive